On the matter of Greenland, I am just an observer in the sense that I don't have a big grasp on geopolitical history of Greenland and whatever other farcical claim Donald Trump may have over Greenland. But what I can see as a layperson is that it couldn't be more obvious that Trump wants to destabilize NATO, unnerve the EU, take Europe's attention away from Ukraine, and help Putin as much as possible to isolate and then annex as much of Ukraine as he would like. Welcome to Law and Society. Please subscribe. I'm talking about what is happening in Greenland and what I think it is more about than what Donald Trump would lead him on to be about. It couldn't be more obvious that Trump has no good reason to go after Greenland other than to serve Putin's end goal of a weak Europe and a frayed relationship between Europe and the United States. Something that Putin knows will harm Europe and America in terms of trade, military alliances, and other global issues that Europe and America have agreed on for generations. Trump's obsession with Greenland isn't about its natural resources or America's national security, or at least it's not his primary obsession. It is primarily a geopolitical gambit and the beginning of Putin's plan to divide global power hemispherically. While Trump goes after Greenland and antagonizes Europe, Putin will ramp up his offensive in Ukraine. Europe won't be able to help Ukraine nearly as much if it gets into trade wars with the United States. It will begin fracturing the European Union, with Trump antagonizing and straining American alliances with the stronger Western European powers, while Putin snags weaker Eastern European countries he feels belongs to Russia. The plan will come to full fruition if Putin is able to annex Eastern Europe and weaken Western Europe and America. Russia already has stable trade alliances with China and India. This helps Putin finance his war machine. And if Western Europe and the United States withdraw from Eastern Europe because Trump has no interest in stopping Putin, then China, Russia, and India will benefit from Western instability. The balance of global trade and military power will shift eastward. Trump would like to see Russia become the military hegemon of the Eastern Hemisphere, and he wants the Western Hemisphere for himself. It is, Russia has the firepower to become the military hegemon of the Eastern Hemisphere, despite the fact that China and India both have nuclear weapons. Russia just has a heck of a lot more of them. And although Russia is not today a major economic power, if Trump keeps sabotaging American commerce and global trade, there's no telling in which direction economic prosperity will flow. But one thing is certain: America and Europe, should Putin and Trump be successful, will see a decline in the standard of living and global influence. The standard of living issue will not impact the richest of the richest in America or Europe, but it will have a substantial strain on the regular people of Europe and the United States. So that's what I think Greenland is about. You hear Donald Trump writing to Norway about not being happy with the Peace Prize and therefore, ramping up his annexation plans of Greenland, which is an autonomous part of Denmark, which is a separate country than Norway. And Norway has already said that it cannot control who gets the Nobel Prizes because that is the Nobel Committee and not the Norwegian government. And Donald Trump just thinks that's not true. He thinks that it's Norway's government's doing that he didn't get the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, something that he has been coveting from the moment Obama got one. And it is embarrassing for Americans to be in this place, and I hope the world sees that a majority of Americans do not feel the same way as Donald Trump does. And I don't know how to convey that to the world other than to talk about it constantly and to lift up voices that counter Donald Trump's narrative and that counters this global sabotage that Putin has orchestrated. With that said, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.